NBA Finals has a story. The 2025 NBA Finals is a story that started with a trade no one paid attention to. Just one player sent out for almost nothing in return. And yet, that single move triggered a chain reaction, a butterfly effect that reshaped two franchises on opposite ends of the league, and nearly 2 decades later brought them face to face on the biggest stage. No other finals in NBA history has a backstory like this. Let me show you how it all began.
It's a chilly night in Seattle.
The summer of 2007 was a funeral in slow motion for the Seattle Supersonics.
In the corner's Ray Allen. Turns off the James screen. A top three.
Ray Allen had just been shipped to Boston, and the ownership was loading boxes, heading to Oklahoma. Rashard Lewis, the second-round pick, who blossomed into a 22-point flamethrower, was walking out the door. He was headed to Orlando to sign a massive contract. Seattle could have let him go for nothing, but Sam Presti doesn't work like that.
My job is to think in the best interest of the organization long term, something that can be sustained.
On July 11th, 2007, the Sonics orchestrated a sign-in trade, not for a rising prospect or a future lottery pick, but for a second-round pick. Less than 10 days later, on July 20th, Presti sent the second-round pick for Kurt Thomas and 2 first-round picks. The Phoenix Suns were contenders. They couldn't care less about those 2 picks. But Presti wasn't done casting spells just yet. One became Quincy Pondexter, an unspectacular journeyman, but the other?
The Seattle Supersonics select Serge Ibaka from Brazzaville of the Republic of Congo.
Serge Ibaka, a 6'10" rim destroyer out of Congo. And that was just the beginning. Kevin Durant was already there. Russell Westbrook arrived next. Then James Harden. By 2012, the OKC Thunder weren't rebuilding anymore.
GM Sam Presti. And look at this team that you've put on the floor, going to the NBA Finals.
It's remarkable. It really is. It's a credit to the coaches and the players. We've just got a special group of people.
But far across the country, another storm was gathering. It was 2013, and the Indiana Pacers were led by...
Here comes George, got the step and stuffs one move and catches it.
We are seeing a superstar in the making here.
He let it go. How far was that?
Ridiculous.
Paul George led the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they stood eye to eye with the defending champions. The Thunder and the Pacers, 2 young teams, were hungry, and they wanted more. But the future doesn't come in straight lines. In Indiana, the gears began to grind. Paul George was blossoming into a superstar, but around him, the foundation was cracking. The chemistry that once felt bulletproof now felt brittle.
For the 4th consecutive year, the Miami Heat are heading to the NBA Finals.
And in Oklahoma, the dream was splintering. Just months after reaching the finals, James Harden was traded to Houston. They still had Durant. They still had Westbrook. They still had hope. But hope doesn't last forever. In 2016, with a 3-1 lead against the Warriors, Oklahoma came within touching distance of redemption. And then it vanished.
The Warriors do it by becoming only the 10th team out of 233 to win a best-of-7 series while trailing 3 games to 1.
When the dust settled, Kevin Kevin Durant chose Golden State, it was betrayal. In the wake of the heartbreak, Sam Presti went back to work. He traded Ibaka to the Magic for a new pair of hopefuls, Victor Oladipo, and a rookie with a legendary last name, Domantas Sabonis. The headlines were about the Fury. Russell Westbrook was all that remained. The 2016-17 season became a one-man symphony of vengeance.
Westbrook quickly turning into a three. With 2.5 seconds remaining,
Westbrook didn't just play basketball. He declared war. He averaged a triple-double and won the MVP. And in his shadow, something unexpected was happening. Oladipo had become quicker and more confident.
Westbrook, oh, and a pass, and Oladipo finishes.
Sabonis
McDermott for Sabonis.
was blossoming into something special, and before anyone could truly notice, they were gone. In the summer of 2017, Oklahoma City sent both Oladipo and Sabonis to Indiana in exchange for Paul George. Two teams, bound by the same thread, trading pieces of each other's futures, and neither would ever be the same. In Indiana, Oladipo exploded. Sabonis, too, found his rhythm. Together, they carried Indiana to 48 wins in the first round, pushing LeBron James and the Cavaliers.
Let's give me the ball.
James, 2 seconds, 1 second to the win. LeBron James delivers. That's a winner in Cleveland.
But it didn't feel like a loss. It felt like an arrival. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma City, Paul George found his own crescendo.
Westbrook over to George. George got the fly-by. 3 on the way. He's gone with 3.1 seconds. George gives the Thunder the 2-point lead.
By 2019, he wasn't just an all-star. He was third in both MVP and DPOY voting. Alongside Westbrook, he made the Thunder terrifying again. And for the briefest moment, it felt like the road had curved back toward destiny. But fate is impatient, and destiny rarely waits.
Damian Lillard from way downtown.
In Oklahoma City, it was a gut punch. Fresh off a near MVP season, was suddenly asking out. And Sam Presti answered, but he didn't just fold. He rewrote the rules of value. For Paul George, the Thunder received Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, and a haul of draft picks so large it felt mythological. It wasn't a trade, it was a heist. And Presti, always 3 steps ahead, wasn't done. He flipped Westbrook to Houston. In return, Oklahoma received a mentor, Chris Paul. At 34, most thought Paul's best days were behind him, but that season in Oklahoma was resurrection. He taught, he led, he carved the game into chapters for Shai to read.
With a player like Chris, who draws so much attention, it makes it easy for the rest of us.
And quietly, the Thunder began building again. Meanwhile, back in Indiana, the dream was cracking again. Oladipo began to falter, not from lack of will, but from a body that refused to cooperate. In 2021, the Pacers moved Oladipo to Houston in return for Caris LeVert and draft picks. By 2022, Domantas Sabonis was traded to Sacramento. In return came Tyrese Halliburton, overlooked, underrated, passed over by a dozen teams that couldn't quite see it yet, but Indiana did. Just as Indiana had Halliburton, Oklahoma had Shai, and now it was time to build around them. The 2022 draft came like clockwork. With the 12th pick from the Clippers trade, Oklahoma took Jalen Williams. By the time the 2023 All-Star Weekend arrived, the league could no longer look away. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton both became first-time All-Stars, and the story was just beginning. The moves didn't stop, because once the foundation is laid, the climb begins. In 2023, Sam Presti struck again, another Clippers pick. This one at 12th overall was sent to Dallas in exchange for the 10th pick. With that selection, the Thunder chose Cason Wallace, another piece. In Indiana, the stakes rose too. They swung big, acquiring Pascal Siakam from Toronto. In exchange, they gave up Bruce Brown and picks. One of those picks, a piece they'd once received for Victor Oladipo. Paul George sparked the arrival of Oladipo. Oladipo led to picks, and those picks, they brought in Pascal Siakam, an all-star, a two-way force, a veteran with championship experience. From one trade to another, the ripple became a wave.
Well, I'm going to the NBA Finals, man.
It feels good?
Yeah, man, it feels good. It feels really good.
The organization long term, something that can be sustained, something that in time we'll look back on and say, you know what, these were tough decisions, but ultimately they were the right decisions for the organization.
For the first time since 2012, since the days of KD, Russ, and Harden, Oklahoma City is in the NBA Finals.
What are you most proud of about what your team has been able to accomplish so far?
I'd expand it past this year. Shout out to Mr. Bennett, who had a vision 17 years ago. He has tied this team to the community, and Sam, who's been here all 17 years, he's brought that vision to life, and they've provided an unbelievable experience for everybody that works here, including the players and all of our fans. Just one thing for our fans, rest up this week because we need you Thursday.
Back east, the Pacers moved like ghosts. For the first time since 2000, the Pacers are back in the NBA Finals.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Stephen A., Chalamet, have it your way. Pacers is sick.
Two franchises, one from the flatlands of Oklahoma and another from the heartland of Indiana, built brick by brick from the same ancestral trade, face each other in the 2025 NBA Finals. This entire saga traces back to one transaction so obscure, it barely made any headlines. From the ashes of a forgotten deal rose a destiny that could no longer be denied.